90% of it. And this is from Islamic website. I'm going to post the link, by the way, for people they can go and see by themselves. I'm not making things up. And you will see all the reference. Here we go, all the reference. Written by Muslims, done by Muslims, organized by Muslims. I have nothing to do with it. All those reference, and those are nothing comparing to what we can give. All proving Islam to be corrupted books. Not only the Quran, the Hadith too. So now we will go back to the Facebook. In here we see Abdul. His name is Samir Al-Ansari. He said, you know, he quote for us a verse from the Bible. Let us make it bigger. By the way, I don't trust any Muslim quote for me something. I go read the verse from the book itself. So now he's asking how you can explain this. How you explain this? So what the verse is saying? A marriage shall be considered valid only if the wife is a virgin. If the wife is not virgin, she shall be executed. And he's quoting for us this verse. Let us see. Now, this is the verse he's quoting for us. You know, the verse is very simple. When a woman, she marry a man, and she tell him that she is a virgin woman, and here there's a cheating, there's a lie. So, number one, the marriage is not valid, because the marriage is based on a lie. Number two, in the Jewish law, if a woman, she committed adultery, or a man, they will be stoned. Very simple. And your prophet, he took it and put it in his book, but later the goat ate it. The same thing. Now, I showed him a hadith about his prophet doing the following for the same exact story. Let us see what Muhammad, his judgment about that. And you will see that Muhammad is a liar. Why? Let me show you why. Here we go. If he is against that verse and he is saying this is bad, okay, well, let us see what Muhammad, and by the way, this hadith will prove to us Muhammad to be a false man. Because as long Muhammad, if you remember, there's a chapter in the Quran where it says that the Jewish, they change the location of the verses or the words from their location. That is about stoning to death, supposed the story. And the Jewish, they don't make a difference, by the way, if the woman, she is married or not. Adultery is adultery. Let us see what Muhammad he made in here. A man came to Muhammad. Let us make it in red. A man from Al-Ansar called Basara said, I married a virgin woman in her veil. So suppose she's what? She's virgin. When I entered upon her, I found her pregnant. I mentioned this to the Prophet. The Prophet, Allah pray on him and salute him, said, she will get the dower for you made her vagina lawful. Here we go. Muslim women in Islam. You see, look how rude Muhammad he said. You know, I don't like use dirty words, but I will make it in a different way. You know the word, it's P-U-S-S-Y. You know what I'm talking about. That's what Muhammad he said. You pay for you did use the P-U-S-S-Y. Like, come on. Like, don't you have a, can't you say it in a different way? You know? Okay, you pay her dowry and that's it. But what for using her vagina? What for using her vagina? She is a prostitute. Then look at the justice of Muhammad. And regarding the child, he will be your slave. That's amazing. The Muslims complain about why Muslims, why the child will be her slave, his slave. Well, give me a reason. What the poor child he did? Did he do any sin? Did he commit any crime? What his fault? What he did? He's not even born yet. He's unborn. So a Muslim speak about justice and in the same time, if stoning to death is bad, why Muhammad copy it and practice it all over Islam? And why we cannot find it in the Quran no more? Let me show you why. We cannot find it simply because it's gone. The goat ate it. Sahih al-Bukhari, chapter 6401. Ibn Abbas. Umar said, I am afraid that after a long time has passed, people may say, we did not find the verses. Remember, they are what? They are verses in the Holy Quran of a rajam, stoning to death in the Quran. And, they will leave the obligation. His worry. Question. As long it's obligation, why Allah did not? This is a very important obligation in Islam. Come on, this is adultery. How come Allah could not protect such an important law? Allah, He made the Muslim remember the chapter about Sulaiman speaking to the ant. What we learn from this? Who needed anyway? Sulaiman speaking to his genie. Who care? Sulaiman flying with a flying carpet. Fairy tale stories. Who needed? But such a law important in Islam is not exist in the Quran no more. Now his complaint about the verse in the Bible. The one is about executing the one who commit adultery. Well, Islam took it and accepted and practiced it, and Muslims until now they practice this. But the funny about Muslims, they do all kind of adultery, but they just change the name. You know, you can do adultery in Islam, but you have just to work it out. Like Muslims they do muta. Like Sunni they say we don't do muta no more. Well, if muta is adultery, why Allah allowed it? Chapter 4, verse 24. And Allah never forbid the muta ever. Muhammad, they say Muhammad when he was dying, he said for the muta is forbidden. Who is Muhammad to allow and forbid? If Allah allowed it, who is more important? But there is a verse in the Quran where Muhammad he said that his God said, whatever I forbid, you forbid, whatever I approve, you approve. So he's God in earth. Muhammad is real God. Now, what Jesus did about stoning to death? Stoning to death was exist because specifically in the time of Moses, people, the Jewish, always tough people, they are hard to deal with. They are very well known that it's very hard to deal with them. So this is why they needed a very tough law on them to prevent them from going overboard. As an example, why God, He made a law that no one can do anything in Saturday. What the point? If you think about it, why Saturday exactly and why it's a must? Because simply the Jewish, they are people who love money. They don't want to stop working. Those people, they love to work 24 hours, 7 days a week, making money. So it have to be made a law which is going to force them to stop because they are not only abusing themselves, they are abusing their slaves. So you will see the Bible speaking about you take Saturday, you and your servants. Because now the Jewish guy, he can go and sleep Saturday, but he let the servant work. No, the Bible is so clear. You and your servant, you go and you take it off. So the law was tough on them because they are very tough people. Now, when Jesus said, he came, and people they came, they were following a woman to stone her. Let us show the story from the beginning. They said to him, Teacher, this is woman was caught in adultery, in a very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such a case, should be stoned. But what do you say? Now, is the teaching of Jesus is different from the teaching of Moses? No, it is not, because the one who gave Moses the words and the law is the same person as talking now. But look what Jesus is saying to them. But Jesus stopped down and wrote on the ground with his finger, as thought he did not hear. So when they continued asking him, raised himself up and said to them, He who is without sin amongst you, let him throw his first stone. He who without sin amongst you, let him throw his first stone. Now, people, they were like surprised by this. They were waiting for him to say, yeah, carry on. Stone her. She's an adulterer. She's a bad person. So what Jesus said, he said this law is true. It's valid. It's correct. But not for a bunch of hypocrites like you. All of you, you are no better than her. So why you want to stone her? He can read their mind, he can read their sin as an open book. And this is why you will see nobody did. They stopped. They were so angry because they felt ashamed of themselves and everybody go home. He did not say to them, let me debate about this, let us see what we can do, let me be, He said, very easy thing. If you are not a sinner, do it. So the law was made for those who they are accepted with their righteousness to practice law. Like, when we choose somebody to be a judge, and the judge himself is a sinner, isn't it filthy? Isn't it stupid? Not only sinner, he is an adulterer, he is a filthy, he's a liar, he's a thief, he's everything. So what Jesus said in here, that the law by him is going to be perfect. The law of Moses was to force people to be obedience to what is good, what is bad. When Jesus came, it's not about forcing no more. It's about a choice, not by law, but by accepting the Messiah. If you accept the Messiah, here we go, you know what? Everybody became sinner, everybody, and I am not going to be between you physically. I will release you from your sin. I will forgive you for your sin. And this is what he did for this woman.